Are you here to prepare some Japanese meatballs? Well, Japanese fried meatballs? So what you want to do to prepare Japanese fried meatballs? So firstly we need to prepare the bread kind of thing. If you don't have the bread kind of thing, you need to prepare it. So if you know how to make the bread, or you're gonna buy some kind of bread crumbs already beforehand, then you can skip ahead and I will put it in the description where I continue. Okay, onto the grating. You're going to want to grate the bread. So you do like this. So it puts your bread into crumbs. So if you need to have bread that's already dry for it to work. And so you just do this with a lot of bread. It makes such a mess. That's how messy it gets. And now I need to continue. I've finished the first piece of bread. That's how it looks. Ooh, it looks like snow. So that's the goal. So your bread needs to be dry to do this. Okay, now I'll continue doing this. Be careful while grating the bread. It can hurt if you cut your finger. It will hurt. It might hurt, yeah. So be careful. So once that you have this powder, you put it in the oven and put it in the oven. That's all. Okay, so let's heat the oven up, and so let's warm it. Let's warm it up. So we are now going to spread the breadcrumbs on a surface kind of thing to make panko. Okay, so you spread it around. Okay. And that's it. Okay, good. Let's put this in the oven for 4 minutes. We need to put this in the oven for 4 minutes. Okay, let's put the breadcrumbs in the oven for 4 minutes. And in the meantime, as I have a timer, I can continue and do the rest. I need to cut an onion to put in it. So depending on how spicy, which taste you like, so you might want to put more or less onions, and that's about it. So now what we want to do is, so 4 minutes have passed. What you want to do is open the oven and take the thing out and briefly turn around to make sure that it cooks evenly. And so after that we put the breadcrumbs again for about 3 minutes. Oh. let's go. So I forgot to point out, if you're a minor or you live in a house that's not your house, ask a legal guardian or the owner of the house if you can cook, and chop and do all of those kind of things. Because what's gonna come later on is it's dangerous. Okay, let's go. Get ready to cry, because you're gonna cry. Well, maybe not. Well, the breadcrumbs should be ready. And so we just we switch off the oven and just let it cool down for a while. And then we continue chopping. I chop the onions and I'm about to cry, or I'm crying, or I have tears in my eyes, or I don't know how you want to call it. Well, now on to the next step. You then put some butter to heat and put the onion inside. I could have chopped the onions a bit more, but yeah, I didn't. Well, you can. You want to cook it until it has a kind of a brown color, a brownish color. So now I've pretty much cooked the onion. So now I switch it off and I continue with the next step. Okay, I'm now going to pour it in. Okay, so let's take the moon onions and let's put it in. Okay. Put it in. And that should be good enough. Well, at least for the time being. Okay. I'll leave this on the side. Okay, it's now time to put the meat in. And so normally I would have put, so the recipe that I've found uses 250 grams of how do we call it? Of pork meat, and 250 grams of cow meat, beef, if you prefer. And well, I'm not using the pork because I'm just using the beef, because why not? And yeah, to show that it works and stuff like that. So then I'm only doing the meat, the beef. Ooh. Just put an egg in. Just put an egg in. Oh, and my meat might seem a bit unusual. Well, it's because it's frozen, and it shouldn't really be frozen. Put 1 tablespoon of salt. That should be enough. Time to put some pepper. 1 tablespoon of pepper. So as you can see, as I did not as my meat was kind of frozen, you can see the salt that is kind of melting. So it's kind of melting, and yeah, it's quite interesting. Now what we want to do is take the panko and have 15 grams of it. 1/4 of a cup, some would say. That's gonna be a lot of panko. Dude. Okay. Well, that's the idea. I was supposed to put some teriyaki sauce, but I don't have any. And I'm probably allergic to it, so I don't need to put it. And then you stir all of it. Then you stir all of it. Yes. Okay, so now I've mixed the meat. Now I'm gonna put some cheese in. I know what you want to do. So you take some cheese. And this one might be a bit too big. So I cut it in half. Then I make some kind of like a square. Then, well, this might be a bit too much, but never mind. So then I take some of the meat. That might be a bit too much. And so you make a bowl. Oh, that's good actually. And what you want to do is take some of the cheese. That's too much, and just put it inside the bowl that you made, and then that should be good. And so if you're having trouble, you can add a bit more meat if you don't have enough space for your thing. That's a giant meatball kind of thing. And so normally what you're supposed to do is use egg, beaten egg, but as I don't have beaten egg, I use water. Yeah, I'm like that. I change around the recipes as I please, 'cause it's not fun to just do the correct setup. And so you want to roll it in flour, roll your thing in flour, then drip it in the water or the beaten egg, if you have it, and then just go into the panko, and then roll it around in the panko. And so that's it. And then you leave it to rest, you put it on the side like this, up, and then you proceed with the rest. And so you take the meat up, a bit more perhaps, okay. Then you take the cheese and you put the cheese inside, okay, up. So you do this, yeah. And you do this for all of them. And that's how it works. Oh, this one's better. This one seems to be better. Look at this. Okay. So then what you do is you take a bit of flour, you put it in the flour. Or, yeah. And then you put it in the egg or the water, as I don't have the egg, and so you roll it in the panko, and then you have one. And so now you do that with all of the meat. So it's finished. Oh, by the way, it was the recipe that I used said to use mozzarella, but basically you use cheese that can go inside of it. So there it is. So now so now it's the dangerous part. Really dangerous. It's quite dangerous. So it's with cooking the meatballs things with the croquettes with oil, and so there's sunflower oil, and so it's quite dangerous. Do this alongside an adult or your legal guardian, or inform yourself about oil before doing it. Otherwise, just don't do it and just watch me doing it. So the oil is now starting to heat up, and as I was saying, don't do this if you're not confident in your skills, or you don't have any adults around, or anyone that knows about oil, how it works. That's how lonely it is, just like there. It's quite lonely on its own, but it's to test the waters, test the oil. It's not lonely anymore. Yay! Oh, there are dangerous bubbles. Hello, dangerous bubble. Well, don't go in contact with water, otherwise you can explode. So please, viewers, don't add water with this. It's a really bad thing. I don't want you to go to hospital. When cooking, always look at what's happening, because you don't want your house to burn on fire or something like that. So always look at what's happening. Well, these first two guys don't look that cooked, and I heard a weird noise, so I put the lid on, and I've turned the heat off because I don't want it to explode and burn and whatever. So yeah, and that's it. So I've put it back again because it didn't seem that cooked. And look at this, the heat is off, and it's still like bubbling really a lot. So I can't emphasize enough or stress enough that it's really dangerous. Look at this, it's like boiling, and it's like really hot. And early on it was coming out from the small kind of outside kind of here, you know, where there's like a kind of hole there, or it was coming out through there, like here you can see a bit of rest here, and it was jumping, so be careful, it's really dangerous. Without the lid, I don't know what would be happening right now. And it looks different. So this is like the cool olive oil. That's the hot olive oil. Cold and hot, hot and cold, hot and cold. Look at how pretty it can be with this thing. Whee! Well, that's it. So yeah, it's very dangerous, and yeah, so be careful, and ask a parent or legal guardian, or if it's an adult, if you're an adult, make sure that you get permission to do it. And if you're an adult and you have no one to tell you what to do, well, be careful. Itadakimasu.